Hey, this is Joe from Grow It Build It, and today I'm going to show you how to build a basic vegetable garden. So getting started with a vegetable garden and building one is a fairly simple thing, but it is a hard job. It takes a bit of work, but anybody should be able to do it. I'm going to show you some techniques and tools to construct a regular in-ground vegetable garden. I built my garden years ago before I started any YouTube channel or website, but I do have enough footage to give you an understanding of what needs to be done and how to do it. Now, if you are really starting from scratch, I suggest you watch a couple of prior videos I made, namely how to locate or where to put a vegetable garden, the factors you need to consider, and how to plan and size a vegetable garden. How big of a garden do you need? Those are two important things to know before you actually start breaking ground. So I'll put cards in the top right and links below. Those two videos may seem simple, but they are necessary items that you need to think about before you take your first shovel full of dirt. But this video is targeted for beginners who've never made a garden before. It's really about the physical construction of a garden. So we're going to cover a few basic steps with a discussion on each point. How to remove your grass, fencing, do you need it, and how to put it in. And also how to make the simplest garden gate ever. Keeping grass from creeping into your garden from the outside. How to keep weeds down, and then the basics of planting vegetable plants when it's a brand new garden. So this video is mainly for people new to gardening with little to no experience. And this is part of a short series we have on vegetable gardening and improving soil, things like that. So you might want to have a look at the other videos that are in a playlist containing this one. You might find some of them quite helpful, I hope. But all right, let's see what needs to be done to build a garden. Okay, so if you see my garden, it is set out to be as practical as can be. It isn't made to win aesthetic design awards, as you can plainly see, but it looks nice enough and it's very productive. So consider my garden as a baseline starting point. But the first step to construct any vegetable garden is to remove the grass. I'm going to cover 4 different ways that you can remove grass to start your vegetable garden here. And I have detailed videos on some of them and a detailed article on multiple methods, which I will link to down below. The first method I'm going to cover is how to remove grass with a shovel. So you can simply take a shovel or a flat garden spade like this to remove sod pads. Basically what you do is cut out a sod pad, drop down to your knees, and then slice underneath that sod pad with the shovel, taking up the top ½ inch or 1 inch of sod with the grass. You want to just make sure you get the root crown. And this thing has a lot of benefits in that it will provide instant results. It's fairly quick to do. Now, the cons of this method are pretty obvious though. It's work, it is labor intensive, and you have to have somewhere to dump the sod, so consider that. The next method I want to talk about is something called sheet mulching. It's where you effectively smother the grass with cardboard and a big layer of mulch or compost on top of it. What you basically do is mow the grass really short, you lay down your cardboard, water it, apply mulch, water it again, and that's it. Over time, the grass will die and smother and die out, and that's it. You can still plant vegetable plants through this though. Scrape away the mulch, cut an X into the cardboard, dig your hole, plant your plant, put your cardboard back around the stem. This will help keep the grass down still and allow you to plant your vegetables, so it works pretty good. Essentially, this is the Charles Dowding method, and he's been making vegetable gardens like this for a long time. I'll link to some of his videos. The pros. This is easy. This is the easiest way to get rid of grass, and I've done all the methods multiple times. This is the easiest one. It provides instant results, and there's really no strain on your back, or not much, and there's no weeds. The drawbacks, though, is you got to have cardboard, mulch, or compost. So if you don't have the cardboard, you're going to have to go get it from a big box store or a grocery store, and you're going to need mulch or compost. If you don't already have that stuff available, you might have to pay for it. But yeah, this is my preferred method to remove grass for any reason. The next method is going to be a rototiller. So a rototiller does exactly what it sounds like. The tines spin and it churns up the grass. Now, in addition to cutting and killing the grass and turning it over, it's going to spread weed seeds everywhere. And I've seen this happen multiple times. You generally will have to till it more than once because once you do it, you're going to have a bunch of weeds germinate. You're going to want to come through and till it again to kill those, and possibly a third time. But this will work for killing the grass. The pros of this is that it's very easy and fast. The drawbacks is you're going to have to deal with more weeds, and you'll have to till multiple times, plus cost of the tiller or rental of the tiller. Next, we're going to talk about something called a sod cutter. So remember when I talked about the shovel method? All right, well the sod cutter is the mechanized version of that. It's a machine that will cut slices through the grass and then you can roll it up in sod rolls after the fact. It's available as an unpowered hand tool, which you probably won't find, or a fully motorized and propelled version. The pros of this one are obvious. It is quick, efficient. It's heavy to turn, but it's self-propelled. Now it's going to cut a slice of grass very cleanly because you set the depth, and little weeds are going to grow after using this tool. The drawbacks, though, is the cost of renting this and possibly delivery fee on top of it if you can't get it there yourself. And also, you still have to do something with the sod pads on your own. And if you guys are liking this video, please click the thumbs up and give me a like. It really helps my channel out and I greatly appreciate it. Okay, now we need to talk fencing. The first point is, do you need a fence? If you have a healthy population of rabbits or deer, the answer to that question should be yes, in my experience. Now, it doesn't take much of a fence to keep rabbits out. For deer, you're going to want your fence to be at least 4 feet tall. Theoretically, deer can jump 7 feet, or you need a 7-foot fence to keep deer out, but I have a 4-foot tall fence and deer never get into my vegetable garden. I can't explain why. I think I just made it just inconvenient enough. Plus, they have lots of other food sources all around them. When it comes to rabbits, the mesh on my fence is 2 inches by 4 inches, and rabbits can squeeze through it. I've physically seen it when I chased one, but they generally don't go in there, and I can't explain why, except there's plenty of weeds in my lawn and they just eat those. But all right, if you're going to put in a fence though, how do we do it? Well, you're going to need some tools. You're going to need a fence post driver, pliers, rolls of fence, clips. So you can buy rolls of fence in 50-foot or 100-foot lengths, and I needed 2 50-foot ones to surround my entire garden. And I bought 2 50-foot ones because that's the longest they had in this nice green color. You're also going to need T-posts or U-posts. T-posts are very sturdy, very long-lasting, but you're going to have to secure the fence to the T-post with wire ties of some kind. U-posts are a little flimsier, but they do have these nice clips that will hold the fence. Installing a T-post isn't too difficult, but just make sure you are in the right location, or nearly the right location. Pound it into the ground with a fence post driver until you reach your desired height. And you should expect to be putting these in at least 2 feet into the ground. The fence post driver will allow you to adjust the orientation of the T-post as you're doing this by just leaning on it as you go down. So that way you can get the right height and it's going to be vertical. Okay, and as far as how many posts you're going to need, you should consider at a minimum putting 1 post every 10 feet. And that's just to make sure your fence isn't too flimsy. Also, this entire video does exist as an article at my website. It's handy for a quick reference later. I'll link to it below. Next, you're going to have to secure the fence to the post by using clips with pliers or just going right into the tabs on the U-posts. And then if you have 2 sections of fence you need to join together, it is very easy to clip those together and just twist the wires with pliers and it'll be very tight. The benefits of the fence is that it's going to keep most critters out. It looks nice, and you can also use this as a trellis for cucumbers and squash plants. If you have a fence, you're going to need a gate, and my gate is actually just my fence. There's numerous examples on the internet of gates if you want to make something that looks real pretty, but instead of doing that, I just took an extra section of fence and I wrapped it around and I clip it in with these carabiners. That's it. So I just undo these carabiners and it comes off the last T-post and I can walk in and out. It's not aesthetically pretty, but it's very functional and it works. You don't even know the gate's there if you couldn't see the carabiners actually. So simple and effective. Okay, how to keep grass from creeping into your garden. Keeping grass out of your garden is pretty easy. You just need to either bury some edging or make a little trench around the perimeter. If you dig a small trench 2 inches wide by 3 inches deep, which is 5 by 8 centimeters, the grass roots that normally spread via runners will hit that trench, they'll detect the air, and they'll just stop, in my experience. Now, I'm in the north where we don't have Bermuda grass and all that, and I'm aware that it might just go right underneath this trench. So I'm sorry for you that deal with that. It's just not something I've ever had to experience. But for regular turf grass, this little trench will work. Okay, how to keep weeds down in your vegetable garden. To keep weeds down, you use a mulch of some kind. You can use wood chips, any kind of natural mulch, or a good layer of leaves. I have a whole video of what autumn leaf mulch has done to my soil, and you should have a look at that to see how you can best utilize this free resource. And then plan on applying a leaf mulch every year, or wood chips every other year if it's a thick layer. But you're going to want to do this because you don't want to spend a whole lot of time weeding your garden. That's just, you don't get much benefit from doing that. Okay, now we're going to talk about planting vegetables. Once all the above is done, you can start planting your vegetables after the last frost date or designated planting date. I practice a no-till gardening, so I don't till up my whole garden or anything into it. I just improve my soil by top dressing with compost and then leaf mulch in the fall. But your first year gardening, you should probably do something to help out your vegetable plants and seeds that you're planting. And to plant vegetables, you're basically going to dig a hole and put your plant in. But I like to dig my holes a little bigger, a little wider, and a little deeper, and I mix in compost with my soil because I started this, it was turf lawn for 15, 20 years before I moved in. So to improve the soil a little bit, I mix in compost at roughly 50-50. If you don't have compost, you can buy some. You can buy them at garden centers in large bags, and that's probably all you'll need to plant your first round of vegetables. Now, this also is a good time to say that, if you're going to start vegetable gardening, you should also start composting. If you've researched compost at all, it's very likely you've already come across my video on how to do it. If not, I'll put a link down below. Check it out. It's one of the simplest basic methods, and it works. Okay, time to review. So we've gone through all the key steps that you need to take to build a basic in-ground vegetable garden from scratch. But we covered several different ways to remove grass. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the best way for you in your situation. We covered fencing, whether or not you should have it, and how you can actually put it in. Keeping garden grass from creeping into your vegetable garden, and the simple ways to keep weeds at bay so that you're not spending all your time weeding your garden. And then finally, how to plant your vegetables from a basic method. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up as it really does help my channel out, and I do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments, and also this video is attached to a playlist which is pretty much covering everything I have done about vegetable gardening and soil improvement, composting and such. You're probably going to find some other good resources there that you may want to look at. But yeah, that's about all I got. So you guys all have a good one.